We should point out that there are varying degrees of fantasy land with Democrats. Some are true believers, meaning they actually believe the tripe left-wingers spew. Others take advantage of those who history calls useful idiots, knowing the fantasy isn't true, but pushing the deception anyway. Conservatives destroy leftist fantasies. We describe why they hate us in today's preamble. And I'm not being rhetorical when I say the left is jam-packed with raw, pure, and unadulterated hate. Here's one of them now.
Imagine that! I hate this! I hate what you've done to us! I hate what you're doing to us! I hate you, Board of Supervisors! I hate you, London Breed! I hate you, Jenkins!
Hold D.A. Jenkins accountable!
She was upset that a trans was shot and killed while committing a crime. There it is, folks. That is the ideology in the Democrat Party that they claim is tolerant, loving, and peaceful. It's why they seek to silence conservatives and those with whom they disagree. Their arguments are tantamount to a screaming temper tantrum. Those tantrums convince no one, so they just work to silence dissent, which leads to this.
And yet, for the most part, the news that you see analyzed on Twitter comes from media organizations that are themselves thinly disguised propaganda outlets. You see it on cable news, you talk about it on Twitter. The result may feel like a debate, but actually the gatekeepers are still in charge. We think that's a bad system. We know exactly how it works, and we're sick of it. Starting soon, we'll be bringing a new version of the show we've been doing for the last 6.5 years to Twitter. We'll be bringing some other things too, which we'll tell you about. But for now, we're just grateful to be here. Free speech is the main right that you have. Without it, you have no others.
So guys like Tucker and this program, well, we cause leftists to stomp their feet because we say some words they can't handle. The chief word is no. We spoil their narrative over news. We openly challenge their absurd claims, and we tell the real story and history of problems confronting our country. And that leads leftists to openly fretting that free speech might survive their left-wing censorship.
Okay, well, listen, Twitter was already under fire from misinformation, disinformation, all-out lies, anti-Semitism, racism, before Elon Musk took over, and now it's gotten kind of crazy, right? Seemingly unmoored, if you will. Will anybody be able to police what Carlson says, or is this the point? It's just a free-for-all.
I think this is the point. It is a free-for-all. It's what Elon Musk wants to provide. This move by Tucker may cement the idea of Twitter as a right-wing website.
Disgraced CNN left-winger there, Brian Stelter, admitting that free speech is, quote, right-wing. Now, I'd like to welcome all of you former Democrats out there and traditional liberals who still value and covet and seek to protect free speech in America. I'd like to welcome you to the right wing. And look, I got to applaud you, little Brian Stelter, for admitting that censorship is left-wing. As for the GOP, they don't tell Democrats no like we conservatives do. Instead, they say yes. But let's also save the country, they say. The debt ceiling debate is a prime example. House Republicans, consistent with the Constitution, fulfilled their power of the purse role by debating and passing a bill that raises the debt ceiling but cuts back on spending, a bipartisan bill. Spending, by the way, that spending poses a threat to the U.S. economy and to the nation's future. That's when Joe Biden, Chuck Schumer, and the rest of the leftists in Washington, D.C. began to stomp their feet. Here's Joe Biden claiming he has dictatorial powers to break the debt ceiling law, just like he's breaking immigration laws, but this time laughingly invoking the 14th Amendment.
I have been considering the 14th Amendment. And a man I have enormous respect for, Larry Tribe, who advised me for a long time, thinks that it would be legitimate. But the problem is it would have to be litigated. And in the meantime, without an extension, it would still end up in the same place. I'll be very blunt with you. When we get by this, I'm thinking about taking a look at months down the road is to see whether what the court would say about whether or not it does work.
Okay, well, we can't be sure, but we think Biden is referencing this clause in the 14th Amendment. Section 4 reads, quote, "The validity of the public debts of the United States authorized by law, including debts incurred for payment of pensions and bounties for services in suppressing insurrection or rebellion, shall not be questioned." Now, apparently, it is Joe Biden's intention, through his Marxist advisors, to declare his opposition, the Republicans, to be in a state of rebellion or insurrection, thus somehow granting him dictatorial powers. By the way, his power grab will be short-lived if one reads Section 5 of the 14th Amendment. Quote, "The Congress shall have the power to enforce by appropriate legislation the provisions of this article." The Congress passed the debt ceiling law to rein in the dictatorial impulses of Democrats by protecting the U.S. taxpayers from the socialists who now currently run the Democrat Party. See, that's how the Democrats roll. In their fantasy world, they get to break the law with impunity. Here's Biden's new brain claiming that Joe Biden has reduced illegal immigration by 90%.
He has tools that he's used to make sure that we do this. We actually deal with the immigration system in a humane way, and in a way that is that actually deals with what we're seeing at the border. And that's why you've seen the parolee program be so successful. When it comes to illegal migration, you've seen it come down by more than 90%, and that's because of the actions that this president has taken.
Okay. That is just, she is a liar. She's a bald-faced liar. But here's how the regime justified that claim. Biden instituted a parolee program, as you just heard, for illegal aliens. The aliens show up, and Biden releases them on parole. So in essence, Joe Biden solved the illegal immigration crisis, a crisis he and the Democrat Party created, and with some help from Republicans, by making illegal immigration legal. The GOP sat by and, of course, did nothing. Not even pro-socialist NBC News appears to be in the mood to support Biden's behind-the-scenes little dictators, saying, quote, "After more than 11,000 migrants crossed the southern border on Tuesday, the Biden administration is now preparing a memo that will direct Customs and Border Protection to begin releasing migrants into the United States without court dates or the ability to track them," end quote. Joe Biden has deemed that you, the little people, will support, care, and feed over 15 million estimated illegal aliens that he will bring in after his 4-year occupation of the Oval Office. In Joe Biden's brain, he's a dictator. And with the GOP senators tripping all over themselves to fully fund Joe Biden's dictatorial impulses, including his importation of over 15 million illegal aliens, there are precious few voices to dissuade Joe Biden from his dear leader fantasies. Yesterday, in a civil case, President Trump was found liable for touching E. Jean Carroll. Never Trump squished George Conway, convinced Carroll to bring this civil suit based on an alleged incident she couldn't clearly remember. Legal observers note this is just the latest in an all-out assault of lawfare trying to derail President Trump's attempted return to the White House. But showing how it's good to be dictator and how dangerous Mitch McConnell, John Cornyn, Mitt Romney, and the Surrender Caucus approach to Biden is, feeding his dictator fantasy. Tara Reade is signaling that she very much wants to stay alive, thank you. Reade has credibly accused Joe Biden, of sexual assault, a charge that can't seem to get any airtime in the biased press or a hearing in court. Reade is shouting from the rooftops that she's not suicidal should some unfortunate accident befall her. Where it is true that the never-Trump GOP, the elected Democrats, and the biased press can't get enough of the Democrats' dictatorship fantasy, real Americans, well, we're rejecting it. Repeat national champions, the Georgia Bulldogs, don't want to be seen with Joe Biden or his Marxist regime. Who can blame them? They have turned down an invite to the White House. In truth, nobody likes a dictator. And Joe Biden and his regime are toxic today. In defiance of their elected politicians, only 36% of Democrat voters want to indulge Joe Biden's dictatorship fantasies. They don't want anything to do with a Democrat Party slavishly devoted to a dictator. If Democrat voters want a divorce from Democrats, imagine how the rest of us feel. Bud Light may give us a clue. Outkick founder and sports media personality Clay Travis conducted a little experiment over the weekend. He offered various cans of beer for free at a concert. Nobody wanted to be seen with the free Bud Light in their hand because Anheuser-Busch, like Joe Biden, tried to tell their customers what they should like. Not only has the anti-Bud Light campaign been the greatest, most effective anti-woke campaign conservatives have ever launched, it also gives Americans a path forward. The lesson of Bud Light is clear. It's not about woke companies, delusional elected leaders, or the hate-filled left. It has been and always will be about we, the people. Americans should apply the Bud Light standard to all enemies of freedom, the Democrats, the Surrender Caucus Republicans, and the censors in mass media. In short, Americans should do the work Mitch McConnell and those 18 Republicans refuse to do. We should defund the left. Their delusions of dictatorship, their open attack on our people, our rights, and our way of life deserve neither our support or our money.